So this quilt happened when I was living, started when I was living in New Mexico, and it was fall and it was New Mexico and I was missing home so much. So I started playing with fall colors and so forth on my design wall. And really I started building a forest on the wall is what happened. And then I wanted to make it so that it was showing a little bit of swirliness. I don't know if you can see it. You've got the
Yeah.
white and yellow there. So the pieces in the center are much smaller, and then it gets bigger and bigger. So it's called Jazz Autumn. It's actually has some, the structure of it has something to do with quarter note triplets. It's like it's all connected in with things I was learning in jazz at the time. But it was the beginning of my doing a number of quilts that were essentially abstract landscapes. Mm-hmm. So that became another side of the poetry in some ways for me. It's sort of like if you think about the poetry as a wikigan and you think about quilts as a wikigan, you know, they're more tied in than saying, oh, you're doing visual work or you're doing something else.
Yeah, and this is really important. And for folks who are joining us in this conversation and thinking about a wikigan and what that means as that sort of activity of engaging in creation of knowledge and storytelling, but that's not just limited to books or writing.
Right.
And it's active and it's collective. And so this is amazing how we see just in some of your work this rich Indigenous ways of thinking about land creation, imagining relationships, and being able to see the land in these really profound and interconnected and relationship-based ways. I think is really powerful.
I would love to read another poem if that would be okay.
That would be amazing.
So it's the poem that is related to this quilt. It's a poem called Red. And on the page is actually a tree, which is not something I did on purpose. It sort of became a tree on the page. But it is about, actually it starts in the Amherst area. I was driving from Amherst to Worcester, Massachusetts with another poet, taking the road north of the Quabbin, and it was fall and all the maples were red. So it starts in that place and it ends with a few lines that are actually from Christos. So it starts with two different poets. Red. In his new poem, The Red Autumn Woods are a metaphor for leftist martyrs. We are traveling east through a maple forest that blazes the hillsides on both sides of this winding backcountry road. Look at the trees, I want to tell him. Listen, the trees have their own stories to tell, like the story of fire deep within the heart. They too have been martyrs in the long war against the land, a nation cut down, children denied. 100 years ago, these hills were bare of trees, the stone walls that wind through them, the illusion of ownership. Now the hills are red with maples. My heart is leaping out to meet them. My eyes cannot be full enough. Though acid falls from the clouds, maples have gathered on the hillsides in every direction. See how they celebrate. They are wearing their brightest dresses. Come, sisters, let me dance with you. I offer you a song. Let me paint it red with passion. You are all the women I have ever loved.